Hi there, everybody. Just writing in the chat here. Today's class is going to be a vocabulary class, and it's going to be vocabulary related to traveling. So we're going to wait for people to join in. Marcus has a class that's just ending right now. So I'm going to wait for people to join in. I have a link here that I have a Google Doc set up where people can go and check out what I wrote for this class. Hi there, welcome, Abdullah. Welcome, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Welcome. The chat should be working, so we're going to just wait until everybody joins the class. There's be a few people. Give it a minute here, see if we fill up. Wolfie, welcome.
Hello, Lisa.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm doing well.
You're looking good.
I just got up a little while ago. It's 7 a.m. where I am, so that's early morning. What time is it in South Africa right now?
It's around 5.
5 in the afternoon. Have you spent all day on verbling?
No. That's my second lesson today.
Okay, great.
Actually, not second. I don't know.
Okay, well, it's good to have you back. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It looks like we're getting full pretty quickly here. Hi, Samuel. I'm going to get started. Usually we start the verbling classes by everybody introducing themselves quickly, so we get just get to know each other a little bit and get a sense of where everybody is. If you have a lot of background noise, you can mute yourself, or if I hear it, I might try to mute you just so that everybody can hear better. So, okay. So let's get started here. I'm gonna ask you to just introduce yourself. Abdullah. Hi there.
Hi. My name is Abdullah. I'm 80 years old. The first year at university.
Mm-hmm. And what country are you in?
I'm from Cairo, Egypt.
Oh, okay, great, wonderful. And you're studying in the university?
Yeah, I'm first year engineering.
Uh-huh. What type of engineering? Is it software engineering or?
No, it's the first year here. It's general engineering. I study general engineering. Then the second year, I will be practicing in what I will want to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great, wonderful. Well, welcome. Have you done any verbling classes before?
No, this is actually my first one.
Okay, great. Okay, the next person, Abu, are you there? Abu, Ziad. Okay, I don't see. Okay, Carlos. Hi there, Carlos, are you there?
Yes, sure.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks, and you?
Good.
Okay,
Tell us where you are.
yeah, I'm from Colombia.
Colombia?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of talking in the background there.
Yeah. Sorry for it. This is my first.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, welcome. We'll get started here. We're just doing the introductions. All right. So, Jonathan, are you there? Are you there?
Yes.
Hi. Turn up your mic. I can't hear you.
Hi.
Hi. Now I can. And where are you?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little bit noisy, but go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what country you're in.
I am from Colombia.
Okay. What part of Colombia? What city do you live in?
I am in Bichada, Puerto Carreño, Bichada.
Okay. I don't know where that is. Is that
To Venezuela.
okay? All right. Well, thank you for joining
In
us.
front of Venezuela.
In front of us. Okay, great. Near there. Mahmoud, hi. How's it going? Mahmoud.
Hi.
Hi. Can you introduce yourself to everybody?
Okay. I am Mahmoud. I am joined from Turkey. Mersin.
Okay. Welcome. But Rebecca, are you there?
Hello.
Rebecca.
Hi, everyone.
Hi there, Rebecca. Where
Hello.
are you?
I'm from Spain.
You're in Spain.
Yes.
Jonathan, I'm gonna mute you because there's a lot of background noise. So when you want to talk, then we can unmute you. Okay, Rebecca, you're in Spain. What part of Spain are you in?
I'm from Madrid, the capital.
Oh, okay. Nice. What's the weather like right now in Madrid?
Now, actually, now I can see the sun.
You can see the sun? Okay.
Yes, but the last days, it was very cold.
Uh-huh. Does it snow sometimes in Madrid? Or no?
No.
No, not really. Okay.
No, not.
Just in the northern part of Spain. Okay.
Yes.
Samuel, are you there?
Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
How are
And
you?
where are you? I'm doing fine. How are you?
Fine too. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And where are you?
I'm from Colombia, but right now I'm living in Córdoba, Spain.
Oh, okay. Great.
Thank you.
Are you liking it there in Spain? Are you studying or are you working?
Yeah. I'm studying. I have win a scholarship for a student interchange, and I'm here in the UCO,
Okay.
Córdoba University.
Great. Thank you. Wagner. Hi. Wagner. Are you there? Can you hear me? I have you up on the screen. Wagner. All right, when you get your mic to work, then you can introduce yourself. And Wolf, are you tired of
Yes.
introducing yourself, or you want to do it today?
Actually, I am really fed up.
Okay.
Right, sure. No. Yeah. Go.
Okay, so Wolf has joined us in several classes, and he is from South Africa. And so, welcome everybody. Since some of you are new, I'll review how these classes work, and because we have viewers also that are probably trying to get in, the way the Verbaling class works briefly is you come at the class time. So this class was started at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is my actual time because I live in Washington State in the United States. And if you're not familiar where that is, you might know where California is. And if you just go north through Oregon and then up to Washington, and I'm just south of Canada. So it's pretty easy for me to drive to places like Vancouver, Canada, or go across the water to Victoria, which might be places that you've heard of. So you get a sense of where I am. And so the way the class works is everybody gets here, and then people start coming into the class, and I see down below, and if you have your camera turned on, we can see you, like you can see me. And if you don't want to have your camera turned on, that's okay, just as long as your microphone works and your speaker system, so you can hear me, and then I can hear you, so you can participate. Sometimes I might have to mute you if I hear a lot of noise in the background, and I'll see a green line going across there, like I'm talking right now, so you see a green line under me. If I start hearing things and seeing that green line, I might just mute you for a minute, just so it makes it clear and less noisy in the class. Also, people who are watching, if it says class is full, right now, sometimes it happens that during this class, it's an hour long, some people have to leave the class for some reason, and they might drop out of the class, and then at that time, the button will appear again. It's a green button that says join class, And if you click on that, then you might get into the class. The benefit, of course, of being in the class is that you will get a chance to participate. I will ask you questions, and you can speak English, which is what you're here for learning and for practicing. If you can't get into the video part of the class, then feel free to write over here in the chat. I already started writing a little bit, and a couple other people have also written something. So if you have a question or you want to say something, I'll try to be checking on the chat as well. So that's how these classes work. And today's topic is vocabulary related to traveling. So I was thinking that it would be traveling to the United States, for example, just because that's one country that you would be traveling to if you were going to speak, you were going to have to speak English when you got there. But of course, it could be traveling to many other places, because oftentimes if you're going to travel to another country, the common language might actually be English. So sometimes you can get away with knowing English even in different countries where that's not necessarily the national language or the language that is commonly spoken. But most likely you'll be going to an English-speaking country, and that's why you need to learn English. So I actually made a little Google Doc, and I sent the link here. I put it in the chat. So does everybody want to click on that? If you want to, that'll help you, because I'm going to be using some of those words to get started here, to just kind of get us going. And then I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and we'll do some means where you and I might do a little role playing where I say something and you answer, and we kind of make up a little scene so we can practice. So the first thing that typically you have to do when you're going to come to the United States is you need to go to get a visa. And for most people, I believe, in your country, there is a U.S. Embassy. And usually the U.S. Embassy is probably in one of the major cities of your country, oftentimes the capital. I imagine, Rebecca, that the U.S. Embassy is probably in Madrid, and so you would have an easy time of getting a visa by just going to Madrid. Some people have to travel farther away to be able to go and get a visa. I'm wondering, has anybody ever traveled to the United States or to England or Canada or some English-speaking country?
I was in Seattle.
Where were you?
In Seattle? Seattle? I don't know.
Seattle?
How to pronounce it. Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's where I live, near where I live. I'll write it in the chat so people can see it. Seattle. Yeah, sometimes in the United States, some of the words are not necessarily English words, the names of towns and cities and places, because of they had the tradition of having the Native American languages that were of the people that lived in these places before we got here. So yeah, well, great. So Rebecca, then if you're the only person, I'm going to use you to help us out here a little bit to see what your experience was like. Rebecca, did you have to go to the U.S. Embassy to get a visa to travel to the United States?
The truth is, when I traveled to the United States, I was only 18, and I was with an adult who cared of me, so I don't remember that kind of things.
Oh, okay. So you were younger, so you didn't have to do all of the we call it paperwork stuff.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't have to prepare your visa and your passport and everything. Okay.
Exactly.
So I just want to check in with you. Wagner, did you get your microphone working?
I think so.
Okay, yes.
Hear me?
Perfectly. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
So where are you?
My name is Warner, and I'm from Costa Rica.
It looks nice and sunny out there in the background there. Is it sunny?
Yeah, it's the sun.
Nice.
Sunny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday we were doing a class on geography, and we were talking about the weather, and in most places where the people were from, it was pretty rainy and cold, but Costa Rica is looking pretty nice right now.
Yeah. Actually, it's very warm, the weather.
Yeah, great. Okay. So if I'm going to be talking a little bit, but before I get you to start talking, just to go over some of this, like I said, it's in the link is in the chat if you want to go to the Google Doc. Otherwise, I'll put it right here in this screen. And then I'm going to start asking you some questions. But if you want to interrupt me, if you have a question, go ahead and interrupt me. It's totally fine. Okay. And Abu, I see you're back there. Does your microphone work?
Yes, ma'am. It's working now.
Hi, great.
How are you today?
Good. Now we can see you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you typically, okay, I'll give the link again. It's right there. It's a tiny URL. I made it smaller. So just click on that link. It's in the chat, and you'll be able to go see this Google Doc. You're welcome, Sergio. So, yeah, so I was kind of going through my mind just how everything that might happen, and I think the first thing that you would need to do would be to get your passport. So if you have a passport from your own country, that's the first thing you need, and you would need to bring that with you to the U.S. Embassy. And then when you get to the U.S. Embassy, they're going to ask you lots of different types of questions to see whether or not you qualify to get a visa. Now, I'm not an expert on this, so I don't know why they will or won't give certain people visas. But typically, if you're just going for business or for pleasure, pleasure just means for fun, like
Pleasure.
a vacation. Yes, pleasure. If you're going for pleasure, like on a vacation, typically that's not a problem. However, I know that in the United States, just like in many countries, sometimes they will only give you a visa to stay for a short time. So depending on what you want to do in the country, you might get a visa for 1 month or maybe 6 months, and sometimes probably a year. For example, if you're a student and you're coming to study in the United States, then they will make sure that you have all of the correct paperwork that you need, that you got into the school. For example, I know that in some of the verbling classes I've had, there are people who are trying to come to the United States to get their PhD. That's a post-doctoral degree. And so they would need to get a visa, and they would have to be able to prove that they are actually going to be accepted into, or they have already been accepted into a university. Yes. Sergio asks, how much does the visa cost? That I do not know. I don't know how much a visa costs. It's probably different depending on what type of visa. Sometimes it might just be free. It's mainly just something that you that's going to show in your passport, so that when you get to the United States, you can they know that it's okay for you to come in, because you don't want to try to get to the United States without the correct paperwork. Otherwise, you won't.
Really, we can say the for paperwork, red tape.
The red tape, yes. Another way to describe paperwork could be red tape, and when you use the words red tape, you're kind of meaning like it's a problem, like it's just a pain to have to do all of that work. So let's go to a role play. Does everybody understand what I mean, role playing? I'm going to pretend that I am working at the embassy, and somebody in the class here can pretend that they want to travel to the United States. And so I have these questions here, and we'll just make it up. It doesn't have to be real. So let's see. Who would like to? Is there anybody who would like to try? Or I'll pick somebody. Okay, Abu. Hi, Abu.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So so you're coming to the embassy, and I'm going to ask you a question. Hi, Abu. What is your reason for traveling to the United States? Why are you going to the United States?
To study English.
Okay. And where are you studying English?
I can choose any university.
Okay. And so let's just make it up. So let's say you're studying in New York. So,
Okay.
yeah, so because they would want very specific, not just like, well, I hope to study. They want to know that you already know where you're going. So let's just
Okay.
pretend that you already know that you're going to study, let's say at Cornell University in the United States. Okay, so where will you be studying, Abu?
Let's see, after 2 months, I can reserve after 2 months.
Mm-hmm. You will be studying, oh, okay, Sergio wants to study at Yale in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long will you be in the United States?
6 months.
Okay, so you would say, I want to be in the United States for 6 months. I will be studying English for 6 months. And who will you be staying with? Will you be staying at the school, or will you be staying with family or friends? Just make it up.
With friends.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so those are some of the types of questions. How about Abdullah? Hi
Yeah.
there. How about you ask
Yes.
me? Can you see the questions?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. How about you ask me the question, and I will give you guys the answers so that you can see how to answer.
Okay. Where in the United States will you be traveling?
I'm going to go to New York City, and I want to see the Statue of Liberty, and then I'm going to visit some friends in California, and then I'm going to go visit the Grand Canyon.
How long will you stay?
I want to be in the United States for 2 months.
Who will you be staying with?
Well, when I get to New York City, I'm going to be staying in the hotel, and I already know which hotel. It's the Hilton Hotel. And when I go to California, I will be visiting my friends. They live in Los Angeles, California. And then from there, we're going to drive to see the Grand Canyon, and they're going to take me around. Okay? So, do you see how you can answer that? When you go to the U.S. Embassy, they're going to want to know in detail, probably, what you're going to do in the United States. So they'll probably be very picky. That's a word that maybe you might not be familiar with. I wrote it in the chat. That means picky just means they're going to ask a lot of questions. I just wrote a couple of questions up there, but they might ask even more. So you have to be prepared to answer the questions, giving them the information that they want and that they need to make sure that you're going to be going there and doing what you say you're going to be doing. And I believe that this is true for any country that requires a visa. You have to go to the embassy, tell them what you're going to be doing in their country and how long you're going to be there. Does that make sense? Does anybody have a question about getting a visa? Abu?
I'm sorry, what's the meaning by picky?
Picky. Picky means, okay, I'll give you some examples. What I mean picky is they're going to be very, asking you a lot of questions. So they're going to be very picky means they're going to not be relaxed and say, oh, okay, Abu, whatever, we'll let you in, no problem. They're going to say, ask a lot of questions. How long are you going to be there? Who are you going to stay with? Why are you going? How will you travel when you're in the United States? Do you have enough money to pay for your trip? So that's a word meaning picky means they're just going to ask a lot of questions and really want to know a lot of information. Another way that we can use the word picky in a different context is if someone is a picky eater. So a lot of times children are picky eaters. That means they only like certain foods. So if you go to the restaurant and your child doesn't want the meat, they don't want the vegetables, they just want rice or pasta, or you can say, oh, my child is such a picky eater. They just like to get little bits. So that's a different way to use that word. But if somebody's picky, that means they want to know what they want. They know what they want, and they don't want certain things.
But
Yeah.
basically, they want to set you up with their question.
They want to make sure that you're going. They want to understand what you're going to be doing in the United States. Yes, for sure. And Sergio, you joined us.
Yes.
Hi there.
Hi.
Where are you?
I'm from Brazil.
Brazil. Wonderful.
I'm here.
Okay. Have you ever traveled to the United States or another English-speaking country?
Never.
Never. Okay. So here we go. So that's the first thing. So before you even travel out of your country, if you want to go to the United States or Canada or some other place, you must first go and get a visa. And to get a visa, you have to know what you're going to be doing there. You can't. They won't give you a visa if you go and you say, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to go and I just want to be able to go." They probably won't give you a visa. Somebody in the chat earlier said that they didn't get a visa. Serdar said he tried to go to Canada but didn't get a visa. Serdar, if you're still watching and you want to explain to us in the chat why, then you could tell us why. There are various reasons why people don't get visas. It might be that they don't. You don't have a plan for what you're going to do, or they might not trust that you have enough money to be able to do the things that you say you're going to do, or, of course, they might suspect, which means they might think, that you're going to try to come and then stay in the United States, and that's dangerous nowadays, to come and try to stay in the United States without a visa. Yeah. Okay, so, but if you get your visa and you get to come to the United States, then you're probably going to take an airplane, and you're going to have to go get on the airplane in your country, fly to the United States, and there's lots of places in the United States that you can fly to. Of course, some of the popular places might be New York City, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Those are cities, Atlanta, Chicago. These are cities across the United States because, of course, the United States is very large. But they will get you, those will be the places that you enter. So that's called your point of entry. And when you get there, they're going to be speaking in English. Now, some of the international flights might be speaking in another language that you understand, but Americans, unfortunately, are known to not be very good at speaking other languages because, of course, they think that most people nowadays are learning English. So it's probably going to be better if you can speak English because they might not be able to speak your language. So I wrote here on the Google Docs some of the vocabulary that you might hear. Of course, airport, your flight number. You want to have your flight, your tickets. I didn't write that one. Your tickets are very important. You have your return flight ticket. Those are all the things that you need to keep together with you. You might need a connecting flight. If you need a connecting flight, you have to know how much time you need to get there. But your first place that you go, even if you're going to go somewhere else, is the place where you're going to have to pass through customs. Does everybody understand the word customs? Manuel.
Yeah.
Hi, Manuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, customs is basically...
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Manuel. Manuel joins us from Spain.
Hi.
Hi there.
Yes.
So we're just talking about traveling, coming to the United States, and I'm giving you guys a bunch of words and vocabulary words that you would come across and you might need to use or you might need to hear and understand when you're traveling. So once you got your visa, then you're free to travel. And we're talking about the airport. So see, I put a Google Doc up here with just some of the vocabulary that you might find. So you have to know your arrival time, your departure time, which is when you leave. You have to understand if they come on the announcement and say we have a delay, that means maybe for whatever reason, like right now, sometimes the flights get delayed because of ice, or high winds maybe, or too much rain, like a storm. So if you have some kind of that weather, then sometimes the planes will be delayed. All right, and then they also, another terminology is taking off, and then landing, and then customs. So when you land in the U.S., you will go straight to customs first. I'm writing it in the chat so you can see how I'm saying it. And the customs is the place where you are going to have to show them your passport and all your paperwork, all your visa, and if you need anything, if you have a student visa or if you have just a travel visa, and they're going to be pretty stern. Stern means they are not going to look happy. They're going to be very serious, and they're going to ask you a lot of questions. Again, they will ask you questions like, why are you coming to the United States? What will you be doing? This is another one. What is the purpose of your visit? Manuel, have you ever been to the United States or another English-speaking country?
No, I would like, but I've never have been in some of this country.
Okay. And Sergio, I forgot to ask you, have you, or did I ask you? Yeah, I asked you, sorry. Okay. So basically when you come, you have to be very confident. Be confident and just tell the truth, and then there should be no problems. And they will let you go through, and then you can go to your connecting flight, or if that's the place where you're staying, then the next job is going to be to figure out how to get where you're going. Okay.
Excuse me, Lisa.
Yes, Manuel.
I've heard many times that some people that go to the United States have a lot of problems when they arrive in the airport. Is this true?
Yes, that can be true. Yes, it can be true. Yes.
Why?
Immigration.
Immigration.
Yes, Samuel wrote immigration. The reason why it can be true is because they are very, very strict. That means they're very strict. I'll write that in the chat. And very stern and serious. These are how the immigrations or the customs officers will act. And they don't really want you to fool around at all. So they want you to be just serious and answer the questions. And if you have all of your plans in order, and it's very obvious that you're just traveling and you're going to go on a vacation, you're going to be here for 2 weeks, then that's not a problem. Sometimes what they have a problem with is if they think that you're trying to come to immigrate.
Yes.
If they think that you're trying to come to immigrate, that means you're going to try to live in the United States, then that might be problematic. So you have to be able to prove that why you're here. Are you on business? Will you be here for just 1 week? Are you coming to study? Are you going to, and then they want to make sure that you are going to leave.
And also, Lisa.
Yes.
After 9/11,
sure.
They really be strict about these kind of rules, especially after 9/11.
Yes. So probably everybody understands what happened. 9/11 is when the towers, the Twin Towers, were ran into by the airplanes. And so that made the U.S. government more
paranoia.
Vigilant. Yes. So vigilant is a word that means very much more careful and watching very closely who comes into the United States and why. So if you come and you have your kids and it's you and you're, it looks like you're going to Disneyland or, Disney World, you're probably not going to have a problem. But, if you come in and maybe you seem very nervous, and if it's not clear not clear what your plans are, you know, then they might be a little bit more strict with you. They might take you aside and ask you more questions. Also, you want to make sure you don't have anything funny in your luggage. So they'll be going through your luggage. They'll see what you have in your luggage, your clothing. Of course, now again, after 9/11, they're very strict with the airlines. You can't carry like shampoo and liquids and things like that. So you have to make sure that you don't have any of that stuff. Did you want to say something?
Yeah,
Abdullah?
911 is the emergency phone, right? In USA. Is there any connection between that number and 9/11?
Yeah.
Or it's 911 before 9/11?
Yeah, 9/11 is usually written like that, and that's the day that the Twin Towers fell, and then 911 is the emergency number to call. When you are in the United States and you have an emergency, you call 911. So 911 was before 9/11. Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of confusing. Yeah. Hi, we have a new person, Sertak. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. So we're just talking about, maybe you've been watching already, just traveling, and we're to the point where you're at the airport, and you might be going through customs. Have you ever traveled to the United States or to another English-speaking country? Sertak? Okay, I don't know if he can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. So Rebecca dropped off, I think. She's not there. I was going to ask her a question. So then once you get to the airport, you need to go and find a taxi or a bus, or maybe you get on the metro. So, Mahmoud.
Yes.
What will you say to the taxi driver when you your hotel?
Follow the front taxi.
Okay, so sometimes when you get to the airport, they have lots of taxis lined up outside the airport, and you will go and you want to tell him to take you to your hotel.
Yes.
And so you need to know the name of the hotel. So I'll give you the name of a hotel. So the hotel is called the Hilton. That's
okay. I want to go to Hilton Hotel.
Okay.
Can you take me to Hilton?
Yes, I can take you. It'll be about 10 minutes. Do you have any luggage that I can put in the car?
No. No
luggage. Okay. Well, usually you will have some luggage. Okay, so he'll take your luggage and put it in the car, and then you will go to the hotel. So when you drive in a taxi, and you might know from driving in your own taxis in your own country, you're going to make sure to bring money, bring cash with you, because you're going to have to pay him with cash. Sometimes they might nowadays take a credit card, but you need cash. Does everybody understand what I mean by cash? That means you need dollars and cents or coins.
Is it expensive to take a taxi in the United States?
Yes, it is. It's pretty expensive. I mean, it depends on what you call expensive, but United States is not a cheap place to visit. So, yes,
No, if you compare is a public transport to taxi, I think I prefer the public transport is I think more cheaper.
Yes, that's true.
I want to know, is there a big gap between taxi or public transport, or?
Yes.
Really big gap?
It is a big difference.
No, I mean, is a big difference? I mean, is a really huge gap between them, we can say?
A tip?
Yeah,
so if you take a taxi, for example, in New York City, and you want to be taken into the city from the airport, maybe it'll be $35.
35?
Yeah, $35. If you take a bus...
Sorry, say 3 and 5.
35, yeah.
It's not expensive, I think.
Well, if you take a bus, it might be $5.
Excuse me, $35 from the airport to the city?
Yes.
What
How
part of
many
the city?
kilometers?
That might be 15 minutes.
30 minutes.
Does
In
that
New
seem
York.
in New York? Yeah. But you can also take a bus and you can also take a train.
It's
And
more
it's-
cheaper, the train.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
Yeah. Seems pretty expensive. But some people prefer to take a taxi because the taxi will take you right to where you need to go. If you take a bus or a train, of course, you will have to get off the bus or the train and probably you'll have to walk. And if you have a lot of luggage, a lot of suitcases and things to carry, then it can be very difficult for you. So sometimes it's just what we call convenient. I'll write that in the chat.
I think is the best solution is a metro subway. I don't know how it work in New York, but in some places in the subway you can take a metro inside the airport.
Yes, yes, you can take a train or the metro, and
I think it's. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
no, that's a good choice. In the United States, the public transportation is not very good.
And the price, the taxi price, it doesn't depend on the time.
The taxi?
The taxi price.
Yes.
For example, if I go from airport to the center of New York, it's ever $35. It doesn't matter the time.
No, not so much the time because the taxis that go from the airport to the city, they have special rates. We call it special rates. Yeah. So because of course there could be a lot of traffic, so you might buy a special rate and you just pay $35. But but otherwise, if you're in New York City and you take a taxi, then it depends on the time. And depends on the time and how far you're going. So yes, that's true. Okay. So I wrote some of the words that you might use. Where are you going? The taxi driver might say to you, "Okay, where are you going?" And then you say, "Oh, can you take me to the Hilton Hotel in downtown Manhattan?" Or can you take me to, and you just say the name. If you have a street address, like if you're going to your friend's house maybe, then you would give them the address. So you could write that on a piece of paper and just hand it to the taxi driver, and then he'll be able to take you to directly to the house where the address is. So everybody understands the word address? That's like, so 145th, 5th Street or something like that. You would give them the address. And in English, we can say address or address. So there's two different ways that we say that word.
What's more common to say?
Either. I don't know. It probably depends on where you are. I say both because I just said address or address. So either one is perfectly fine. Yes. Okay. Kublai just joined us. Hi there, Kublai. Are you there? All right. Maybe going to listen. All right. So then once you so transportation, getting around in the United States, can be a little tricky. Not every big city even has a good metro system or a bus system.
I think one of the best one is New York, and second one I think San Francisco.
San Francisco's okay, but not great. Probably Chicago's okay. Yeah.
Los Angeles disaster, I think.
Yeah, Los Angeles. In the United States, the car is very important to people. And so most people own their own cars, and so most Americans don't really use public transportation too much unless you live in a place that's very expensive to park your car, like New York City. So of course in New York City it's a very big city and there's lots and lots of good public transportation, and you can walk very easily when you're in New York City. But in other places like San Francisco or Los Angeles or Chicago even, they're very big and very spread out cities, And so walking isn't really the best way. San Francisco is okay for some parts, but in some of these cities, you can't really just walk, and it's kind of hard to take a bus or a metro because there might not even be a metro there. So,
Sorry,
yeah.
Lisa, what does it mean spread out?
What does spread out mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so spread out, or we could say sprawling. So spread out means when something goes out a long way. So in a city like New York City, it's pretty compact.
Yeah.
But when you get to other cities, they have spread out. They've sprawled, which means they've built buildings farther and farther and farther from the downtown or the center area.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so many cities in the United States are very spread out. That means there's lots of distance between the different parts of the city, like where people live and where you shop or where you might go to the movies. So it's very spread out. So if you're visiting your friend's house, you probably won't be able to just walk to go see the movies. You might have to get in a car and drive, 5 or 10 minutes, or you might have to find a bus. But a lot of people in the United States, they drive. So you have to, before you come to the United States, you definitely want to know how you're going to get around. And if you have to, you might need to rent a car. So, hi, Kubule.
Then for example, New York is could be spread city, or is it concentrated? The buildings are concentrated.
Yeah. The thing about New York City, when we're talking about Manhattan, it's actually pretty small. I think it's like I don't know how many miles. It's not very big. So New York City is small compared to like a city like San Francisco. So yes, when you're in New York, you can definitely you can walk. Most of the time you can walk, but it's very easy to get on the subway and just go a while. If you want to go to other places like right around, like Queens, these are called the boroughs. Then you would get on the subway, and then you would go out there, and that's a longer distance. But if you're right in New York City, like if you're downtown is Wall Street area, Statue of Liberty area, and then if you walk up, you can walk all the way to Central Park, and there's lots of different neighborhoods in New York City that are very interesting to explore, and you can walk all around, and of course you can get on the subway. It's very easy. Yes, but the main thing is carry cash, so you can, like a lot of times if you're going to take a bus, it only takes what we call exact change. So if the bus costs $1.50, you have to have $1.50 because they won't give you change. So these are the types of things you have to know before you get on, because otherwise you won't be able to get on.
Then the population of New York City is more concentrated than, for example, in San Francisco.
Yes, very much so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so that's why, for example, in New York City, there's lots of high-rise buildings or skyscrapers. Very tall buildings, and there are some in places like San Francisco, but most of those are for businesses. And people still live just in regular homes or some apartments. But in New York City, there's people live in these very, very tall buildings because there's so much population, so many people. Yeah. So I see we have some people are needing to drop out and some people are joining in. So Hernan, you got in. How are you?
Very fine. You?
Good. And where are you?
I'm in Colombia.
Okay, great. We have a lot of people from Colombia. Have you ever traveled to the United States or to another English-speaking country?
I've been in the United States last semester.
Did you?
Yeah, I traveled there because with our university we have an exchange program, so I was taking some subjects from my major. I was in Norman,
Okay.
in
And
Oklahoma University.
Oklahoma. Okay. Did you have any problems getting a visa?
Actually, with my parents, we tried to get like a family visa the first time, like about 2 years ago,
Yes.
and I just request a visa for a student visa. Is a J1 type,
Uh-huh.
and it was easy because it was like through the university, so I didn't have like any problem with that to get my
Yeah.
visa. And then my parents request a visa, like a tourist visa, and they got it, and we traveled last semester there.
Okay.
So
Great.
it was, yeah, I mean the first try was hard, but then it just got easy.
Yeah. Some people I put up a thing there. If you're interested, you can always just search on the internet. The US government has all kinds of information on how to get visas. Some people wanted to know how much it costs to get a visa, but that information would be on the site, and I put the link right there. Yes, you bring up a good point, Hernan, because getting a visa sometimes for an individual person might be difficult, but if you're going to travel to the U.S. with a program, like a student program or with your business or something like that, if you have a corporation, then it's probably going to be very easy for you to get a visa. Yeah, it's a little bit harder sometimes just for people if it's not clear why you're going, but if you're going with a group, like a tourist group, maybe you have a group coming from Spain and you're all coming together, then it's probably going to be very easy to get a visa. Yeah. So, all right. So once you get to the hotel, you're going to start asking you some questions. So they want to know your name. So they might say, what is the reservation under? They say that. What name is the reservation under? So you'll give them your name, and then you'll of course have to pay. And it's best to have a credit card. So if you come to the United States, it's good to have some cash, but also important to have a credit card because that's the easiest way to pay for stuff when you get here. And then
what about the price?
The what?
What about the price? Hotel price?
The hotel price?
Yes.
Well, the hotel price is going to depend on where you are. In New York City, you can probably get a room for $50 and all the way up to $1,000 per night.
$50 per person.
Yes. Now that might not be in a hotel. That might be like in a hostel where there's many people, where you might share a room, like in a dorm style room. You know what I mean? Where there's several beds in one room. So lots of young people like to travel cheaply. If you want to try to travel very cheaply, then you can stay.
Like a dorm.
Like a what?
Dorm.
Yeah, like a dorm. So, yeah, there's lots and lots of websites. I've been telling people there's the Airbnb website. There's
Hostels.com is pretty good.
Yeah. There's lots of websites where you can try to find cheaper places to stay, or even maybe not necessarily cheaper, but a certain type of, if you don't want to stay in a hotel, you want to stay in somebody's house maybe, if you want to really meet people, because if you're coming to the United States and you want to practice your English, it's going to be a lot better if you stay with some American people. So if you can get with some American people in their house, then that way you'll be having a lot more chances to practice.
Lisa, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lisa, which city in the United States is more cheaper than others? Can you say a specific one, or?
Well, probably most of the big cities that you're familiar with are pretty expensive, but not if you go away from the big cities, then it's not so expensive. Seattle is not as expensive as San Francisco, for example, or Portland, Oregon is also a nice city. It's not as expensive. the most expensive is New York, of course, but there's the other cities aren't as expensive as New York City. And of course, in every city there are different areas of the city, which some are very expensive, and then other parts of the city are not so expensive.
Okay, how about the safety?
Mm-hmm.
Which city is most safer than the others? Can you say which one is dangerous?
Well, in fact, again, that would depend on what area you're in. So in every city there's dangerous areas, but in fact in New York City they have really what they call cleaned it up. So for example, Times Square, that's probably a place that you're familiar with if you've seen, you know, a lot of let me just find it here. The images of Times Square.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a very popular place to go visit if you're visiting New York City. You'll go to Times Square. That's where they have the New Year's ball and everything, a big New Year's party. And that place right there used to be very dangerous. And there would be a lot of like drug addicts and people who were, you know, not so nice hanging around in that area. But 2 years ago I went there, and I went there after midnight, and it's very clean and very safe because there were tons of cops, which means tons means a lot. So there were lots and lots of cops around. They were walking around. They were in their cars. They were on horses. So I think New York City has made a big effort to clean up the city and to make it very safe, because of course they want people to come and you know, go to Broadway. And
how about Bronx?
The Bronx. Now that's the difference, is that a lot of people say that they cleaned up New York City, but those people, where did they go? Because of course they have to live somewhere. And so yes, they maybe went to the Bronx, or they went to parts of Queens or other areas outside of New York City, in the boroughs. We call them the boroughs. So the main thing when you come to visit the United States, you want to know where you're going. Just like me, even though I'm an American, I have to know where I'm going. So if I go to New York City, there are probably going to be places where I shouldn't go. Certain neighborhoods, certain streets, right? It's I imagine it's the same in most big cities around the world. There are people in places that are doing things that you probably don't want to know about or be involved in. So it's better to avoid. So we say avoid those areas. That's an, yeah.
For example, if how can I know family that accept people to stay in the house?
Okay.
For stay 1 week, for example.
Yes. So.
For web page, or I don't know how.
Yeah, I think that the best way to try to find something like that is to go online and just search. You might search for homestays is what you call it. Homestays in the U.S. Called homestays. Again, this website here, you can find Airbnb. That's people, sometimes they're letting you come and stay in a room in their house, and then you can use their kitchen and cooking, and they still are there while you're there. So you know, they might have to go to work or something, but they will talk to you in English, and it'll be a good way for you to practice your English and also to learn about the place where you're staying, because they'll help you. You know, how they'll usually give you a map and talk to you. You know, another good place to stay is like a bed and breakfast. So a lot of times people have bed and breakfasts in their house, and then they're very helpful, helping you find your way around the town and finding places that you want to visit. Yes. I know some people just joined at the very end of class here, so unfortunately we're done with this class. I hope that you had got a chance, I'm going to put up the link one more time, so just in case people who came in, it's a Google Doc. I think you can access it, I hope, and you can see just some vocabulary that might be useful to you when you're traveling, coming to the United States, some ideas about visas, getting your visa, what it's going to be like when you come to customs, when you're flying on the plane, all those types of things.
Thank you all the information.
You're welcome, and I hope some of you, if you
Thank
want,
you very much.
I hope you get a chance to travel to the United States. There's lots of cool places to see and visit if you want to.
I feel like in a travel agency.
Yeah, a travel agency. I was your travel agent for the day. Yes.
Yeah.
It is very important when you travel abroad to have someone that help you and say you go there, no go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it's great. If you can hook up, and probably maybe through Verbling or other websites, these days it's going to be much easier to hook up with an American and be able to get some help. So you have some ideas, somebody to answer your questions, because that's a nice way to be safe and to travel. But I got to go so that the next class can start. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for coming to class.
Thank you too.
Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you.